Cody, I got to start off the show with some breaking news.
All right, break it away.
Today's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
That's just, it's been throwing me off all day. Christian Gokel alongside Cody Queen, Cam Ursery, maybe joining us here a little bit.
That's your breaking
later.
news?
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Oh.
I think there's some people in their car riding around like,
I was like, Julio? Hey, what?
Like, no. No Julio news, but that should be coming either today or tomorrow afternoon. Some big Georgia football news brewing. Can't officially announce anything yet, but when it does announce, let's just say Georgia fans, make sure you're checking your phone or you're staying tuned right here. We'll actually talk to Brooks Austin coming up in about an hour from Dogs Daily on SI.com. Some big news coming down from Athens. I think it's going to make some Georgia fans super excited. We'll stay up to date with it as well. But, man, no, it's been throwing me off all day, Cody. Yesterday and Sunday just felt like one long Sunday put together. It was amazing.
It was a very awesome weekend, remembering everybody who didn't come home and everything. When I always tell people to remember them, have fun, because you want to have fun during these days, because you know that they can't. But I had a great time. I didn't have my kids. It was with my ex-wife. They were having real fun with her. So me and my dog hung out in the garage, drank some brewskis, flew the flag high, and had a damn good time. I had a damn good weekend, baby.
Cooked some meat.
I did some hot dogs, everything. But my dog ate more than I did. So, yeah, it was nice.
Fireworks?
Oh, no, they did. There is a center next to my house that always do fireworks. This year, they didn't really do any fireworks. I knew I should have bought some.
It's the beautiful part about living in South Georgia. Everything's flat.
Mm-hmm.
So I could look in like 5 different directions and see fireworks going off.
And you live near downtown, so yeah.
So
nice.
A good time all weekend. And again, obviously a somber day yesterday, as Cody said. I mean, you had some friends who didn't come home, but
yep,
just a day of celebration of their lives. So,
it is. It's a day of celebration. Everybody, I know, and there's also times to be sad. You can go ahead and be sad for it. You can go ahead.
Well, one of the guys,
I know most people I know just, hey man, life's beautiful. It is.
Yeah, one of the guys we're good friends with, BJ's dad, Buck Bennett, has a great saying. He says every day is Memorial Day for the Gold Star family. So yesterday's just a day, celebrate their lives and remember the sacrifice they made. But obviously, a lot of sports happening over Memorial Day weekend. I want to start with the Hawks.
Oh, baby, let's go.
We were talking on Friday about are they coming back? Is it going to be series tied?
Yeah.
What's going to be happening? Are they going to be down 1-3? Are they going to be up 3-1? Well, I mean, best case scenario, Hawks go up 3-1 in the series and really have done it in dominating fashion, leading for a vast majority of the series in terms of minutes. I know even in the game they lost in New York, they had a double-digit lead in that game at one point. So Hawks 3-1 lead. Next game coming up on Wednesday. So Cody, you have 4 days for those New York Knicks fans just to sit there and chew on it after Sunday, doing that mid-game day. Just those style of play from both teams, right? The Hawks, Trae Young's been unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Been able to get into the paint whenever he wants to, distributing the ball. John Collins is finally waking up a little bit, but just the differences, right? The Hawks seem like they have a game plan. The Knicks, it just seems like, all right, if Derrick Rose can't do it, we have no plan B. And Derrick Rose isn't even a starter for the Knicks.
I feel bad for Derrick.
Yeah, he's been a bench piece. He's been unbelievable this series, but like Julius Randle hasn't been able to do anything, but just it's been a stark contrast, right? Like the New York Knicks, I think the best way I've seen this put is the Knicks made the playoffs by playing harder than all their opponents. Like it's just the simple fact is they played every game like a playoff game. Maybe weren't as talented as a bunch of the teams they beat, but they played every game hard and so got a lot of hard-fought wins. Well, now the Knicks are seeing what it's like when everybody plays hard.
Yeah, and you had, last game, 3 players on the Hawks go for over 20 points. 5 players total to go in double digits. They're scoring out their mind. Shooting from the threes are beautiful. I'm talking about Golden State era type of stuff. Like, it's beautiful.
Easy.
It is beautiful. I'm not saying that they're going to continually do it throughout the playoffs because that's what made Golden State so awesome. But last game,
I haven't seen anything Golden State reminiscent.
I am just talking about last game,
dude. 113 points.
Yeah, 113 points. Yeah, and they were beautiful when they're doing the assist, dude. Off the charts. The ball's being spread around. I loved watching the game. I love watching this team mainly because it's against the Knicks. And Knicks,
we can talk about that in a second.
You have made a whole entire fan base loathe you, and now I think they made the entire
NBA look.
Yeah,
Like, they
you
went
made
from
right.
like the clucky upstarts to you guys are kind of jerks.
I was like, dude, yeah, nice.
Like, not even like in a
It's
good
been a
way.
while for the Knicks, so you kind of root for like teams, like the Browns that don't do well, and they come and you're like, dude, cool. And then they did that, and I was like, never mind.
And I think what they're going for is like gritty and tough, but what is coming off of is like petulant. Like,
There you go.
that's really what, and childish is
Yeah.
what I've seen for the most part for the Knicks. But I want to go back real quick before we do that, because you just compare the Hawks scoring 113 points in game 4 of a
Golden
opening series to Golden State.
ish.
No,
I said ish.
That's disrespectful to Golden State. Golden State had Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
All 3 who are better than any player the Hawks have.
yeah. How about early days Golden State?
I think I'd still take early days Steph
Oh,
Curry
no.
and Klay Thompson.
Oh no, I'm not saying that they're better than them. I'm not saying they could beat them.
There was-
Anybody on earth would get shut down by
There
that
was
team.
nothing reminiscent to me about the way that they played. I mean, the one thing I'll say maybe is like Trae Young is Steph-ish, and I say that like in the most like light term
That's what I'm saying. Ish.
possible. No. Like, I still think it's disrespectful to Golden State to say that they're Golden State-ish, because Golden State set all kinds of records even without Kevin Durant. But Trae Young's been able to get to the paint. He's still not as good of a scorer, even inside the paint, as Steph Curry is. He's had a great playoff so far. But I mean, I think
That's what I'm saying. Just the last few games.
I think it's disrespectful to do that. I mean, what they shot? Let's see. Atlanta shot 38% from 3-point line
yeah,
this last game. That's not Golden State.
it's Golden State-ish.
No.
Mhm.
It's very average. It's good. It's not great. You're a Hawks team that was scoring 140 points a lot of times in the regular season, and now the highest you've had, I think, is 113 so far.
And probably one of the best defenses in all of the top 4 defense in the league. So it's not bad.
Again, it's
Not
fine.
bad.
It's not Golden State-ish, but I want to get back to the Knicks.
Okay.
You have Julius Randle throwing elbows.
And high five and afterwards.
Yeah, you have Nerlens Noel purposely tripping Trae Young. I mean, all this after a Knicks fan spit on Trae Young. Like, this is all after that fact. So that's where we're starting with this. But after a Knicks fan spits on Trae Young, you have Julius Randle twice now throwing elbows. Once at Bogey, where Randle was like kind of trying to get into a post position and was facing chest to chest with Bogdanovic. And as he like turned, brought that right elbow up high and just rakes it across Bogdanovic's face. And then you could just see Bogey just kind of like step back, look like, are you serious, dude?
Yep.
And no foul called. Again, Nerlens Noel, when Trae Young's coming back up the court, tripping him like very clearly on purpose. Just like coming and swiping his feet. No call on that. John Collins going up straight up to block Julius Randle. Julius Randle goes offhand. So he's right-handed, going to dunk with the right hand, puts the ball in his left hand, just kind of reaches it up and drops his elbow on John
It's like
Collins'
WWE,
face.
yeah.
Splits his lip open. Dude has to get stitches in his lips. I mean, it's just kind of crappy, man. And you have New York Knicks fans like screaming at Kevin Huerter's family as they're leaving the Garden after game 2, and they're like, "We're the Knicks. We're the Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Like, get the hell out of here!" Like, I mean, it's kind of sad a little bit. I mean, you make it to the playoffs for the first time in how many years, and this is the way you want to act, and you're going to get put out probably 4-1 if I had to guess. I mean,
and this is what's going to go back
it's
to.
Sad. It kind of killed what was a really fun series or fun season for the Knicks.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
You were the clucky upstarts. You got the new coach in. You got Julius Randle from the Lakers. He's the most improved player in the NBA. You're 10 games over 500. You're making it as a 4 seed to the playoffs. It's a great season, and now you're just kind of ruining it because you went out like a bunch of jerks.
Yep, and exactly what you're saying. The most improved player in the league. You know, you came from.
He's not been good in this series.
No, at all. Horrible. It's been horrible. He's been doing some fouls and then going on to the sideline. Hey, man, good job. High five. And Derrick Rose is giving him the glare. Like, what are you high fiving about? Like, I feel like Derrick is really thinking that, dude, we had a great season. You know, I may not be a starter and everything, but I really feel like he did love this team and what they stood for, and then what they're doing in the playoffs right now from the fans to the team is just not what they really were the whole season. So it's crazy how it crumbles all around you during these last few games of the season to not even show what you really worked for the whole season, man. You know, because they were really fun to watch defensively, very fun to watch. It's actually a 50-50 from being a young team to got some OGs on there and everything. So it was really cool mix to see them.
I still think for the most part the Hawks are really young.
No, the Hawks are like one of the youngest.
I mean,
And if not, might be the youngest team in the playoffs.
I think the Grizzlies might be up there.
Okay, well,
with John Moran, those guys.
Well, yeah, they're one of the youngest teams in the playoffs. So, but still, with the Knicks, fun team. This really,
I don't even see that.
Can't root for them anymore.
Really even a fun team. Like I said, for the most part, they were winning games like 97-94. Like it's just, it's kind of like watching Virginia.
That's fun though.
No, I don't think it's kind of like watching Virginia college basketball. It's like we're gonna make the game slow down. We're gonna make it grinded out kind of basketball.
Yeah.
No, I like the high flying basketball. But I mean, just going back to Julius Randle during the regular season, 24 points per game. The Hawks are keeping him at 16.8, so almost 17 points per game. So basically, you're sitting there looking at 7 points less per game from who's supposed to be your superstar, right?
Yeah.
He just hasn't been good. That being said, I think Derrick Rose has really stepped up for them so far in the playoffs. If it's not for Derrick Rose, the series is probably already over in a clean sweep for the Hawks. But man, I think the storyline that's going to be brought out of this isn't the great play of Trae Young. John Collins has actually stepped up a lot in the last couple of games, and even more so than like in the box score, it's been on the court. Like he's been getting in dudes' faces, like especially the guys crowding around Julius Randle coming over, crowding Trae Young. John Collins walks up, he'll put his chin in his chest, and moving them back. I think that's been a really big part of the Hawks kind of flipping the script and saying, you guys can bully us or think you're bullying us, but I mean, we got Clint Capella over here and he's been bullying you guys in the paint the entire series, like blocking your shots, taking boards away from you, and he's just straight up mean. And Clint Capella actually had something to say about this today. He said they're trying to play tough and push our guys around and talk bleep, but we can do that too. We can push guys around too, talk bleep as well, and get a win too. So what are you going to do about it? You're up 3-1. Now I will say this, Cody, as an Atlanta fan, 3-1 scares the hell out of me.
Oh yeah,
because what happened in the NLCS?
I had you posted something on Facebook or something like that, and then one of our friends, Kelly, commented, because no one, if you're an Atlanta fan, no one's gonna be like, we got this, cool, next one more. Come on, Lord, please, just one more. And I get it. So hopefully they can
understand
shut it down.
A majority, I'm not gonna say a majority. I'm gonna say every single media market outside of the state of Georgia is rooting for the Knicks the next couple games. Why? Because you want Game 7 at the Garden.
Oh man, yeah.
It's what they want.
I mean, come on.
It's what they want. I know Cody wants it too. I'd rather you just go up there, break Spike Lee's heart.
I said in Wednesday. 6. I said in 6 Hawks. So if they do it in 5, after all this stuff is happening, I'm completely fine with it.
And again, I think it takes away from what was a really great season for the Knicks, kind of coming and showing you not a great side of some of the players so far. And just like I said, I think the best way to describe it is just kind of petulant.
If it does end, I want everybody to be like, hey man, good series, but I hope it ends like that.
No.
Hopefully it's not, because it's going to be in the Garden, and I want the fans, if they lose in the Garden, if they don't, dude, like if you're
the Hawks, as soon as that thing hits 0-0,
get out of there. Get out of there, dude. Like, oh my God. Like, all right. So we have had some fan problems, people running off onto the court. Do you think it's because everybody's been cooped up so long? Is that why people can't act right?
No, it's like Tom Segura said, some people suck.
Some people suck.
I mean, I don't think there's any like I don't think there's anything like psychological we have to break down with this. If you spit on someone, you suck. Like you're a bad person. If you throw a water ball at somebody, you're a bad person. Like you're just. I don't think there's anything psychological. It's like, well, he hasn't been to a game in a year and a half, so he was just so excited to get to the game that his right arm convulsed and he just whipped a water ball at Kyrie Irving's head. No, you suck. See, as a person.
When you're like throwing popcorn, water bottles, spitting on people, that's not good. Yes, but the guy who ran on the court, like people were like super mad about that.
Yes,
I'm like, he didn't hurt nobody. He wasn't trying to hurt nobody, but he didn't, and he wasn't going out there to hurt someone, like spit on somebody or anything like that. He was just being a fool, being a reject. Just get him out of there. You know what I mean? Ban him if you want to, but Cody, it's not the same.
Straight up, right now, if somebody walks into our studio that's not supposed to be here.
Okay, believe. But I'm not going to treat it
because I've seen.
I am not going to treat it. I'm not going to treat it the same way as someone spitting on me.
People down. Like, I'm going to drop you if you walk anywhere close. People have walked into our studios before, and you went into, like, Cody
I'm-
MMA takedown.
I'm not
mode.
saying like completely, but I'm not going to treat them the same way. Like people are just like dropping F bombs on this guy. Like the same way they're treating the guy who spit on Trae Young.
No, there's a reason.
Like they're not on the same
There's
round.
a reason
dude.
that the security guards don't just like kind of laugh it off when people get on the field. Like they could hurt somebody.
Hey, not only that, hey,
Like you don't know what that dude's intentions were.
that security guy, get him a contract.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, maybe an NFL, but like
We
I
were
don't
man,
know
we're
how
talking
much-
about, and also the lady who
The
fought
Knicks.
off that bear. I freaking Atlanta. Hey, call that lady up.
Yeah, maybe
Call
the
lady up.
Falcons could use her. I mean, fighting off a bear. That's just the viral video of the day going around the internet right now.
Yep.
We got more to come though. Atlanta Braves, weird weekend for them. Only got to play a couple games from Friday to Monday. A couple of games rained out. Luckily, avoid Jacob DeGrom inside of that because we saw him just throwing 102-mile-an-hour cheese
Whew.
last night. So we'll come back, break down what was an odd weekend for the Braves. Some news surrounding Marcell Ozuna as well. Have we seen him play his last game for the Atlanta Braves, maybe in Major League Baseball? We'll break it all down next right here on Second Down. Welcome back into Second Down right here on ESPN Radio. Christian Gokel alongside Cody Queen. Glad to have you hanging out with us on this Tuesday
Your favorite song ever? We just
afternoon.
played.
Tuesday. It's just they're so. I don't know if you can consider Creed underrated, but they catch a bad rap.
I agree.
Everybody in their cars right there knew every word of that song.
Oh yeah, they were.
And they were just saying, "Cry out, save me." Like everybody was
So good.
kind of like looking around at stoplights to make sure nobody's watching them while they jam out. It's fine. Listen, we're here for you.
Hey, between those windows and the radio,
It's a safe space.
that's safe space.
That's
Yeah.
a safe space. You ever like when you're on long road trips, just like have concerts where you're like, "This is my American Idol audition."
Oh yeah, and like you get done and your voice is kind of little,
Like, how
you know
do
what I
they
mean?
do
I might have sang a little too much.
How do they do this? Like, no, it's we're here for you. We've got all your Creed. Maybe we'll play some more for you in the next segment. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But some big Georgia news coming soon. I guess is the best way to put it. Have it from some good sources. That's some massive Georgia news dropping here, probably in the next hour or so.
I know you got me all psyched up, dude.
Yeah, it's nuts. And when you hear it, you'll know what we were talking about. But Brooks Austin, Dogs Daily on SI.com, going to be joining us here in about half an hour or so to hopefully be breaking down that news. Also, we're going to catch up with the voice of the Atlanta Hawks, Bob Rathburn. And Cody, think we're fired up about the Hawks getting cheap shotted? Bob's been
My boy.
furious. So I'm excited to talk to Bob. He's got a couple days off before they have to head up to New York for Game 5 of the series. So we'll catch up with Bob Rathburn coming up at 3:35 as well there. But just so many storylines to get to. I think it's been pretty funny just quickly here to see the storyline around this series change from, look, listen, it's the most even series in the playoffs. How many times did we hear that before the playoffs started, Cody? Most evenly matched series in the playoffs.
Cam said it every time he spoke too.
Yeah, it's not just Cam, it's
Oh
everybody.
no,
said it.
everybody. Me too.
It's going to be the most closely contested series, period, end of story in this playoffs. Hawks and Knicks. Now what's the storyline? Listen, the Knicks weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs. All right, this team this year has had an unbelievable season. Just getting to the playoffs in and of itself is an achievement. Hawks are clearly the superior team in this one. So, I mean, what'd you expect to happen? I just love how the narratives change, man.
If anybody was watching on live
You're
stream,
allowed to be wrong.
if anybody's watching on the live stream, Christian was doing a ferocious knife hand across the way. He was going nuts into
You
it.
know what makes a knife hand even worse is when you kind of do like the okay signal, like
Oh,
kind of bite the bottom lip. You know, listen, most evenly matched series 2 days later. Listen, it's the Hawks. It's the Hawks. I mean, they got John Collins and Trae Young. What were the Knicks supposed to do with that? They had Kevin Huerter. I mean, it's like, what were the Knicks supposed to do with that? I mean, they're not even supposed to be here. The hell out of here. Sick of it.
sick of it.
But listen, most people in the world, and it's not just sports talk radio, even though it's pretty prevalent inside sports talk radio, you're allowed to be wrong.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
It's okay to be wrong.
I'm
I'm
wrong all
wrong
the
as hell all the time.
all the time, dude.
I'm
not. I don't know about me, but
Yeah.
you all the time, yeah.
I haven't been wrong a lot lately. I mean, I'm pretty sure I had 11 picks correct in the first round.
I was
of the
going to
NFL
say
draft.
your 2021 has been started off hot.
Yeah.
It has started off hot. So yeah, and from the Super Bowl to everything, you're like, don't bet against Tom Brady. Boom, called it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're getting picks right like crazy. I'm like, yo, what's going on, dude? Like 2021 for Christian Gokel.
I mean, if you
All
look
right,
back
right
to the
now.
beginning of the college football season, I said Mac Jones
Oh,
was going to win the Heisman Trophy. I know he didn't win the Heisman Trophy, but I mean, he was
he was
there.
there.
He was in
there.
New York. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, how was I supposed to know a wide receiver was going to win the Heisman
That's true.
Trophy? You know, I mean, if Jalen
That's
Waddle,
like 140 pounds.
if
Like, who
Jalen
knows?
Waddle doesn't hurt his ankle, Mac Jones probably still wins the Heisman Trophy last year. But
Do
yeah.
you think that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I said that before because Devonta Smith, like his production just like skyrocketed once Jalen Waddle got hurt.
Well,
And I mean, do I think he deserved to win the Heisman Trophy? Absolutely.
let's get out of the way now. Who's your early predicts?
For Heisman?
Oh yeah,
next year?
for Dio Heisey.
That's tough. I gotta say, you know what? Since it's never happened before, old DJ Uiagalelei from Clemson.
Oh, no, I'm going with my boy Love out there in Alabama. Young. Oh, Love. I call him Love. My
Bryce
bad.
Love, the running
Yeah,
back.
no. Young, my boy Young out there in Alabama, Bryce Young. Yeah.
That's an interesting pick. I think they maybe lost a little bit too much for him to be a
Sure.
Heisman winner.
Okay.
No, for him to be a Heisman
All
winner.
right.
Do I still think they'll probably have the best offense in the SEC? Yes. I mean, maybe not if that news we keep referencing and teasing about Georgia comes to fruition here in the next few hours. But you know what I'm saying. No, I like old DJ5. He's got a pretty soft schedule.
Okay.
And he's got enough key games on the schedule. Like if he comes up and beats Georgia game 1, I mean, just go ahead and start the Heisman. Even though I will say this, it's very rare that you have a poll-to-poll Heisman winner. Like week 1 to the national championship, they're the favorite to win it. There's usually a guy at the beginning of the year that everybody thinks is going to be the Heisman winner, and even if he has a great season, you just talk about him too much.
Spencer Rattler.
And so he kind of loses. You kind of lose that favoritism because people just get tired of talking about him, and so you get a guy who starts like week 4, week 5, just catching fire, and then all of a sudden that's your Heisman. So I do think we probably run into that.
So we got
Spencer Rattler's probably the one that would. I'd say. I think he's the favorite right now to win the Heisman.
That's what I'm looking at right now. We are let's see, Spencer Rattler, oh yeah, plus 300. DJ plus 500.
Okay.
JT Daniels plus 600.
Well, are you gonna tell us which sports book you're looking at?
Sam's Howell, it is Vegas Insider.
There we go.
The only one, baby. Sam Howell.
I think Caesar Sportsbook's a good one.
Nah, it's not a good
William
one.
Hill, like there's a lot of them.
Nah, man. My boy over here. You know
FanDuel.
what I mean? Oh yeah, that is a good one. Sam Howell plus 700, Bryce Young plus 1,000, and another plus 1,000 is Kedon Slovis.
Kedon Slovis from
Kedon
USC.
Slovis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quarterback.
See, I don't know
out
him
JT
much.
Daniels' first job.
And then we also
Or I guess didn't really beat him out. Kind of Tom Brady'd him where he JT got hurt and then
Matt Corral's
job.
on there.
Matt Corral could throw for 7,000 yards this season and not win the Heisman because Mississippi State's probably going to lose 5 or 6 games.
Okay, and then we have also we got Jaden Daniels from Arizona State.
He's
plus 2,500.
He's
Okay.
a stud. There's a few other ones. The quarterback was Schaff from Texas Tech. A lot of people have him as potentially the first quarterback off the board coming up in the 22 draft. If they have a semi-decent season, I think you could see him up there as well. But no, I think it's going to be an interesting Heisman race. We haven't even mentioned any running backs so far.
No, not yet.
I don't believe. I don't know if there's
Isaiah Spiller.
maybe the kid out at Iowa State would have a chance.
Brees Hall.
Yeah, Brees Hall. He might have a chance at it, but I think a lot of the other backfields you see are just kind of crowded.
Brees Hall right now plus 6,600.
Yeah, so I mean, interesting. You don't see any running backs out there. We had a wide receiver.
Tanks Bigsby plus 6,600.
You want a dark horse right here? You want a dark horse?
Mm-hmm.
Derek Stingley Jr., corner LSU.
Oh, my man. All right. You know, I'm very big on
I think he's
LSU
the best
this
player
year.
in college football next year, period.
Period.
And I think the best duo in college football is LSU with him and Ricks playing corner. If the rest of the because last year under Bo Pelini was just bad. And it wasn't, I'm not even going to say it was inherently the players that were bad, even though they lost a lot of guys to the draft because LSU had that historic draft in 2019, but also from the 2019 team, But also inside of that, you have some transfers as well, some guys sitting out. I think probably more with the scheme that 1 year of Bo Pelini did not go well. Now they got some new blood in there on the defensive staff, and I think this secondary could be scary for LSU. But I mean, if you get Derek Stingley Jr., number one, he's wearing number 7.
Yeah,
Some of the DBs.
I
think of some of the DBs and just players, period, that have worn it just over the past few years, right? I mean, Patrick Peterson, going back a little bit, wore it. Tyrann Mathieu wore number 7 in his time at LSU. DJ Chark wore number 7. Leonard Fournette wore number 7 at LSU. So he's wearing the historic number 7 this year. They are going to let him return kicks, and they've talked about putting him on offense as well. So if you can have like a Deion Sanders kind of season from Derek Stingley, I'd say dark horse, watch out for him. But a weird weekend for the Braves, Cody. You have games canceled Friday and then on Sunday as well.
Yeah.
So you missed 2 of the Mets games. Those games going to be made up in July, looking like a double header for the Braves against the Mets. It was tough, right? because you only get one game and you get absolutely smoked in the one game. And you thought this was a weekend where you could challenge them for that division lead right now. But as you sit, you are 3.5 games behind the New York Mets. They have a couple more games against the Diamondbacks, who are just bad. But luckily, you have 3 more games against the Nationals, who you've owned so far this season. I think 6-1 on the season so far against the Washington Nationals are the Atlanta Braves. And you have 3 more games against them before you have to play the Dodgers. But 7 out of the next 9 games for the New York Mets come against the San Diego Padres, who are one of the hottest teams and one of the best teams in baseball, period. So hopefully the Mets can come back down a little bit. Braves can play a little bit of catch up there in the division before they have to face them soon. But also over the weekend, Marcell Ozuna arrested on domestic violence charges. Police officers say they witnessed him grabbing his wife by the throat and holding her up against the wall and striking her with a casted hand. He was released on bond in Fulton County there. But if I have to imagine, Cody, just when you have, this isn't like a he said, she said, you have police officers saying they witnessed what happened. Probably the last we see of Marcell Ozuna in an Atlanta Braves uniform. And if I had to guess, at least for a while, probably the last we see of Marcell Ozuna in baseball.
If it comes out, which the police officers have already said, that's what I'm saying. From what they are saying, if it all comes out to be true, then bye. And end of it, like bye.
And again, this is just total speculation
exactly
on my part. But if I had to imagine the Atlanta Braves, we've seen the last of Marcell Ozuna.
I think either or. I think he just it's just going to be an end of his time with the Braves. It's unfortunate for the victim, and it's unfortunate for everybody involved. And we hope everything gets solved. I hope everything gets better. But when it comes to the sports side of it, I don't think we will be seeing him.
There's zero, or at least there should be. I know there's some teams out there who kind of skate past this, but there should be a zero tolerance policy for domestic violence,
like the military.
But you have to wait to see how it plays out in court in terms of saying he won't play Major League Baseball again. But again, my prediction, just with the reports that we have seen so far, the police reports, and what has come out from some of the guys who follow the Braves very closely, don't think we'll see Marcell Ozuna suiting up for the Braves again, which you could kind of see it in the team when they played the Mets on Saturday, when they lost that one 13-1. There's just wasn't a spark there. And it's Marcell Ozuna was a big part of that team. I know he was friends with a lot of them there, but I mean, when it comes down to it, if you put your hands on someone else, specifically, like we said there, to your wife, it's gonna be tough to come back there. You put your hands on anyone,
your significant other, your
you
kids,
put your hands on anyone.
That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't matter, dude. You gotta have respect for everybody. Can't be doing that. From what the reports are saying, yes, the police said that they witnessed him actually putting his hands on her. So I take that as you will. More information will come out. But yeah, I think you're right. I think this is the last that we've seen him in a Braves uniform. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Now, we'll have to wait and see how that would play out in terms of contracts and what the Braves would have to pay out, if they have to pay out anything. I'm sure that news around that will start coming out in the coming days. But the big question now for the Braves becomes who replaces Marcell Ozuna. I know you kind of had a rotating cast in center field. If you can get Christian Pache back, do you move Ender Inciarte over, or do you move him over? I don't think the bat was really there for Pache so far. So you went from just kind of accepting that Ozuna was going to be bad at defense because you wanted that pop in your lineup. Do you have a guy that can replace that pop? I don't think you do.
No.
So now do the Braves become active at the trade deadline? Do you think about maybe bringing up a Drew Waters, even though I think they said he struck out on like 58 of 120 at bats over a stretch in AAA, and that's only going to go up. I mean, yeah, he's had some power and he's scored a lot of runs, but also a lot of strikeouts from Drew Waters. I mean, you're talking about your 3-hole hitter. And that's a big replacement for the Atlanta Braves. Who do you go out and get, or who do you replace him with? Do you move Ozzie Albies up to the 3-hole and let Austin Riley stay and move up to number 4? Just all kind of shuffling going on in the Braves lineup right now. Are you active now at the trade deadline? We'll have to wait and see from the Braves, but I have to imagine bullpen, something the Braves are going to be looking at, maybe a starting pitcher, and now could be looking for a left fielder if you're the Atlanta Braves. We got more to come here on Second Down. If you miss any portion of the show, check it out on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find ESPN Coastal. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back into Second Down right here on ESPN Radio. Christian Gokel alongside Cody Queen. Glad you were hanging out with us today. Got Brooks Austin from Dogs Daily on SI.com coming up at 3 o'clock. Going to break down, really, Cody, huge news. I think it's kind of going under the radar in college football. The recruiting dead period ended, the mandated one from the NCAA. So for the first time since the pandemic, you have players going on campus, do on-campus visits, and just huge amounts of guys in Athens. We'll talk to Brooks Austin about that. But even outside of that, we'll talk to him just about how coaches have had to adapt during that recruiting dead period, forming a lot of relationships and getting guys on campus. Like JT Daniels said, he had never stepped foot in Athens or Georgia, period, until he showed up to play for the University of Georgia. Right. So just how have coaches learned to adapt? What's going to stay? What's just going to go away now that everything seems to be getting back to normal? So we'll talk to Brooks Austin about that. Also about the biggest recruits that are on campus for Georgia right now, because just a ton of 5-stars in Athens right now being courted by the University of Georgia. So we'll talk to him about that. Some big transfer news potentially for the University of Georgia as well. You already got Turnage, the DB from Alabama. And then I think, according to most sources, the top-ranked transfer period is Tyke Smith from West Virginia, which we had a pretty passionate Brooks on last week talking about this, and I'm saying he's not a safety. He's not a safety. The nickelback. He's going to be playing that star position for Georgia. So a lot of Georgia football news coming up. Also break down more of the stuff from this Hawks-Knicks series. John Collins has played a huge role. I think Clint Capella has been the most underrated guy from this series thus far. He's just dominated the paint for the Atlanta Hawks. They'll break that down as well. And Cody, I'm really excited for this one because we get to talk to Bob Rathburn, the voice of the Atlanta Hawks. And he's had some great audio clips thus far from this series where he's just fired up.
Dude, I love
Bob's
it.
ready to go out there and just like body check someone if they keep stepping on people's hands or elbowing folks. Bob Rathburn's fired up. So we'll talk to him about that. But Cody, today's a very important holiday.
It's a holiday every day, and freaking Gokel brain up there. It's always one.
I mean, it's one of my favorite websites to go to. First thing I do when I come in and start working on the rundown. What holiday is it? I mean, number one, it's a National Say Something Nice Day. So if you want to, say something nice about me, feel free to do that whenever you want to. But it's also Global Day of Parenting.
I'm gonna wait until like 11:59, and then I will send you.
I appreciate that.
You're nice.
I'll be staying up waiting for that text message. I appreciate that. But it's Global Day of Parenting.
Oh.
Which, if you're a parent out there right now driving, keep one hand on the wheel, use the other hand, pat yourself on the back, and then put it back on the steering wheel. But pat yourself on the back if you're a parent out there doing a good job raising your kids. But Cody,
it's hard in these streets, man.
I'm sure it is. I've babysat a toddler for 3 hours, and I almost came unglued.
Poor soul.
I had this
if you want to babysit a toddler, it's not the thing to babysit.
No, I had this thought in my head too, because it was like a 2-year-old. I was like, you know what? I'll get his toys. We'll put him in the living room floor. He'll play with his toys. I'll keep him entertained. We'll have some sports on in the background. It'll be a great time. That kid cried for 3 straight hours.
Yeah.
Just and not even like
that's unfortunate.
Not even just crying like he wanted something. When they cry so hard that they start going,
oh yeah,
like just
the ugly cry.
Tears,
yeah, oh yeah,
huge tears. I thought he was gonna be dehydrated. All the crying he did. As soon as the parents showed back up, I was like, take this thing away. Holy cow! Bring it back when it's 15, and we'll hang out.
What did you do to it?
I tried everything.
Did you?
It was terrible. I don't know. I want to talk to you. I want to say what are some great parenting advice you have out there for the folks listening? Because Cody, you're a good dad.
Patience.
I see you with your kids. I don't want a real answer.
No,
I want some
real
stuff that Cody's learned where it's little tricks of the trade, where it's you tell your kids that if they don't eat their vegetables, a monster is going to come out of the chimney and eat them or something like that. What are the good parenting tips you have?
No, I don't do that to my kids, but
come on.
Good parenting tips. You're not their friend. I tell you, that is a big thing. It's just sometimes they will. I've told you this multiple times. I'm a younger father, so I'm literally a decade younger than all of my son's friends' parents.
As you said
earlier,
nuts. Younger-ish.
Okay.
To use your
and much younger than all his other friends' kids. So he'll get a little too comfortable sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Where he'll be like, Dad, man, we were gonna ding dong ditch the other day, and I was like, son,
did you admit to committing a crime?
You can trespass someone's house and think it's okay for me to be he thought I was still just gonna be like sit there and be like, yo,
high five, son.
sure, so cool, man, so cool. Like, no, dude, like, what are you doing right now? So sometimes you gotta bring him back down to earth. Don't be that like parent. Be like, oh man, yeah, it's cool, and then not want to not be the cool guy. Sometimes you gotta not be the cool guy, so they can be a little, you know what I mean, a little bit more.
Questions for you.
Okay.
Scaredest you've ever been as a parent?
Scaredest I have ever been as a parent. Actually, soon it just happened. My son went on like his first little date ever, and he went off, and I couldn't control it. You can't control him anymore. He went off with her like parents and him, and they were just hanging out, had fun, everything like that. And I kind of like, I kind of knew my son is becoming a man now, you know what I mean? And I almost cried, dude. It was like
that's not scary though.
That's scary. That's much more scary than what you think.
Talking like where you were fearful.
Oh, Colton almost drowned, and Gracie not too much. She's very fearful and doesn't really do anything dangerous. But he almost drowned at the beach one time. He like went under the waves, and I couldn't find him for like a good 20 seconds. And I finally got him. The rip current like got him, and this is about 2 years ago. And I swear to God, dude, I like was like freaking out, like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, my son just drowned. I can't find him. Like, because right away, the worst thing goes through your mind. You're like, nope, no, he didn't just go under for a little bit. He's gone. He's like, oh, I got to find him. Do I got to get a lifeguard? I go, what? Like right away, that starts happening. That's probably the most fearful I've ever been.
Happiest you've been.
Happiest I've ever been. Happiest.
Yeah.
There's multiple. I couldn't put one memory on it, but like my happiest is like whenever we're watching like a Disney movie and we all just like put a bunch of blankets on the ground in the living room and we all just hang out and eat like junk food,
like the best memories
and stuff like that. Oh yeah. Or
what did you call them? Because like my dad always called it like making a pad. It's like
a pallet.
Okay.
A pallet. Yeah. We make a pallet. Hey, let's make a blanket pallet.
You do the big comforter on the ground.
Oh yeah.
And then you put blankets on top of that with like pillows and stuff stacked up.
Or back in the day when they were younger, when they're a little more, you can like throw them around,
Oh yeah.
We just make like a wrestling pit. And we just like, oh, here we go off the top rope, Gracie. She comes off the freaking couch, bam, stuff like that. But those hanging out the house, going out in the woods, like whenever Gracie shot her first buck and Colton shot his first buck, loved it. But like just hanging out with them, and there
you go.
That's the best.
National or global parenting day.
Is it global?
Global parenting day. So we appreciate
shout out to the parents,
all the good folks out there, all the parents out there. We appreciate what you do. We know it's tough. We know it's underappreciated, but keep up the good work. I know I sit next to a few good dads.
I got it easy
every day here on the show.
Some of these, Kevin, God bless them. I mean, he got 2 boys.
No, they're good
like,
boys. But they are wild.
They're good boys. They're
wild. Well, we'll take a quick break here. We'll come back. Final segment of Second Down next. We just got to change a couple words from that song, Cody. I ain't seen the Braves play a game all year, too. I ain't seen the Braves be over 500 all year.
Oh, yeah, be like that.
And then it's just completely updated, and we're good to go. It's a 2021 version of that song. The Braves currently 25-26 on the season, 3.5 games back from the New York Mets. Got another game coming up against the Nationals tonight, 7:20 first pitch for the Braves tonight as they go for game 2 in this 4-game set with the Washington Nationals. And Cody, we kind of asked the question, who's it going to be for the Atlanta Braves, right? Who's it going to be? Who fills in for Marcell Ozuna? You're technically running with a backup now in center field and in left field. So who's it going to be? Who's going to be that guy? Well, they've put out the batting order for tonight, and tonight is going to be Abraham Almonte for the Atlanta Braves in left field. You'll still have Heredia in center field, William Contreras catching for the Braves, but 1 through 5 looks like this. Ronald Acuna, Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies filling into that 3-hole, Austin Riley at 4, and Dansby Swanson moving up to 5 for the Atlanta Braves. Again, that coming up tonight at 7:20 first pitch. We'll have Braves pregame for you immediately following 3 and out. So BJ Bennett, Ben Troop, Kevin Thomas coming up next on ESPN Radio.